May I turn over to Honorable Congresswoman Garin and Senator Marcos first to get their viewpoints on why they initiated this legislation of national evaluation policy and what are the contribution of the legislated national evaluation policy in improving the lawmaking, budgeting, and oversight functions of the Congress.
Yes, of course, I filed the results-based evaluation policy in the hope that we could improve programs, policies, and organizational performance. Clearly, the lack of data has hampered so many programs and projects that should have been worthwhile and could have been better managed and better funded and supported had we better data. Very apparent, for example, has been the COVID response management, which has struggled over a year now with very faulty and deficient data. This needs to be improved clearly. The Philippines is one country which has far too many laws, and very few of them are properly or fully implemented. So the passage of such a law would not magically solve our monitoring and evaluation problems, but certainly putting them in legal form in a legislative framework would somehow give it some importance and priority, perhaps. I think the infrastructure monitoring has much improved the Build project. So in terms of the performance, I think Public Works, for example, has instituted a quite thorough framework for assessing performance, even in the midst of a pandemic. However, the social services have been quite miserable and confusing about the assessment. And I think part of the guilt is squarely with the World Bank and the other donor agencies, because clearly they are in this very conflicted position of being lenders and at the same time the evaluators and auditors. It's not quite right. So very often the data, for example, from the World Bank regarding the 4-piece program or the conditional cash transfers of the DSWD, the Department of Social Welfare and Development, is very peculiar and almost comical. It says on one hand, determined by the data, that the program has been effective for short-term emergency help out of poverty and hunger. On the other hand, it recommends the continuation of the project long-term. So it's a very funny looking evaluation and assessment, clearly self-interested, so that the loans extend continuously. So this is why in my version of the bill, there's a very clear neutrality clause. I know that the World Bank has to stay afloat, like the UN, like all the international agencies, but these recommendations should be disregarded by the nations concerned, because they're clearly not the right conclusion, even if the data may be more or less accurate. Thank you.